This is a big week for economic data and for the stock market. Tomorrow we have November CPI inflation data, which the Federal Reserve will look at closely. And Wall Street's estimating that on year over year, it'll be an increase of 3.1% and a 0.1% increase month over month. I honestly think that year over year will be closer to 2.9%. I think inflation starting to come down pretty rapidly, especially including oil and gas, because right now oil and gas, at least in the US, we're actually at record oil production. No one's really talking about that, but I think that should likely help year over year inflation to actually be below that three handle into 2.9%. If that's the case, the Fed will be very happy about that. Look, Wall Street's saying 3.1%. It very well could be that. I'm just a little bit more optimistic considering the prices I'm starting to see at the pump. And then for core CPI, I expect, and core CPI is minus volatile food and energy. Wall Street and economists are expecting about 4% with a 0.3% increase month over month. I'm expecting about 3.9% because even not including oil and gas, we're starting to see prices go down. We saw Walmart say a warning a little over a week ago about deflation in terms of the prices in some of their items. And we are starting to see economic growth slow down a little bit. And I think that will likely, at least for core CPI, bring that under the four handle, which would be lower than Wall Street estimates. And I think if that's the case, if we see headline CPI under the three handle, like 2.9%, like I said earlier, and then core CPI under the four handle, perhaps 3.9% or 3.8%, that should likely really help the markets tomorrow. But as long, in my opinion, if CPI inflation simply matches the Wall Street's estimates, I think the market should do well. If it matches or is better than that, the market should do well. I mean, look, the market has a lot of momentum right now from the late October lows. The markets have been up for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ for 6 weeks in a row. And the S&P 500 just hit a new 52-week high. And not only that, the S&P 500 is at the highest it's been in 20 months. We're almost flat from where we were about 2 years ago. But this momentum is pretty good. And we also had market strategist Ed Yardeni, who's another notable Wall Street bull, not only saying that the S&P 500 should hit 4,600 by year end, which is almost where we're at now. He thinks that the S&P 500 will hit 5,400 by 2024 year end, which is next year. And he thinks that the S&P 500 will hit 6,000 by year end 2025. Honestly, for 2025, I think that's a little bit far away. The level of 6,000 by year end 2025 is possible. I still think 2025 might be a flat year, but I'm not sure if that flat to slightly down year will be in 2025 or 2026. But there's a pretty good possibility that he could be right. We have to see, especially as Ed Yardeni says, if this decade, the rest of the 2020s is like the roaring 20s in terms of technology advancement and AI. And if that's the case, there is a lot of similarities to the roaring 20s, as Ed Yardeni mentions. And I do kind of agree with him. Look, I think that a flat to down year could either happen in 25 or 26. And then I think the market should do well the rest of the decade. I'm a little worried by 2030 what will happen in the market, especially with exponential technologies. If the market really goes crazy each year until then. But until 2030, I'm pretty optimistic in the markets considering all the technology that's happening and companies' AI spend as well.